Hello guys, welcome back to another IdentityV video. I know it's been a long time since I posted. The past 3 weeks in a row, I've been going around to local high schools in my area and helping that teach marching band camp to them. But now that I'm back, I thought I would give a update video on a tournament that I'm playing in. I am getting back to competitive. I did participate in IVT. I played in... I'm now doing a tournament by a few people that are affiliated with GSL, and there will be a couple of other tournaments that I plan on playing in. And of course, as shown by Shirley, I'm going to put in the thumbnail, I did play Mad Eyes round 1 against a team. I had an idea of kind of the survivors that I was going to be up against, and I thought that Mad Eyes would be a somewhat decent pick to... especially given that our team was given the first one, the round 1 pick, and we decided to go with Red Church because we had an idea of what the opponent's hunter would go, and Red Church just made sense. I could play Mad Eyes if I wanted to be like extra ultra aggressive. I was also getting some kind of vibes that there may be some options for miscommunication. So I just wanted to see if I could take advantage of the situation. So, yeah, this was the round 1 that I had. And let me see. It's not this match. This one, yeah, this was round 1 of the tournament. Now, there are a lot of mistakes that I make here, and I'm going to point these out to you guys. It just kind of goes to show that even in, like, high-tier tournament, things can sometimes go wrong. But, the way the survivors spawn, they did spawn someone in middle. This is the typical spawn that Mad Eyes goes for, this kind of top right here. Now, I'm going to point out a few things here. First of all, this becomes a console war. I'm just trying to protect my consoles at all costs. Got a really nice chip on the patient here. And, again, going for some walls, getting some narrow misses. Here is where I ended up going a little bit wrong just for a brief second. Let me pause it at the correct moment. There was a point where I accidentally touched my finger at the wrong spot. I was trying to go for the classic Red Church trap, but I wasn't able to get it because I accidentally pushed my finger right away on the wrong one. So I ended up going for a chip shot on the aeroplanist, which worked out. Now, I ended up getting a really nice first hit here. Aeroplanist could have used jetpack to get away here, but I mean, decides to take an initial hit here. Now, this is going to be really funny coming up. I go for a couple of trap things there. They use their hover jetpack. The hover jetpack is very valuable against Mad Eyes, and I believe that the aeroplanist should have saved that if possible. Now, this was actually a misclick. I meant to go into my console again, but I accidentally clicked right on the warp. So the survivors did have an opportunity to have an early lead advantage here. However, the aeroplanist ends up going down to a wall here, and I have a down at 5 ciphers remaining. I can move my face a little bit, and you can see that there's barely any cipher progress here. I'll keep myself a little bit smaller just so that you can keep track of that. And that console, or that cipher right here, is one that's very, very tough to decode against Mad Eyes, just because I can block it off with a single wall. This is part of what makes Red Church so strong. I do make a few misplays here, but this is not one of them. I end up stalling their rescue past half, which is very, very nice. You want to be able to do that if you can as Mad Eyes. The one thing about this chair is that there's only one console available there, and it's the one right here that covers all the graveyard here. I decided to rush this rescue since it got stalled past half, which I think was a smart decision on my part. And this is another misplay that the survivors go for. I think they were trying to get the airplanes to have some extra distance, but Acrobat ends up running right into me. I decide to block this all off, and this actually ends up being a really nice moment. I get a full trap here, which is very nice if you can get it. Now, one of these walls ended up being a bit too close to the cipher, so they were ending up being able to escape, but because they didn't have flywheel or anything, This is going to be a down on the aeroplanes, which is dead on chair. If Mad Eyes can get an elimination before the pop, then he's going to be in a really solid position. I decided to chair right here just because this chair typically is a weaker one for Mad Eyes to camp. That one and the one that's kind of right next to it I could have gone for. Both not super strong chairs. I end up going for... I could have gone for another wall in a trap here for cheerleader, but... I end up also just going for expending resources, kind of playing the long game here, which can work. I end up going a little bit... This is tournament gameplay, so again, things can get a little bit stressful. I end up going for just like some regular walls, which doesn't end up working out. There were a lot of like kind of 50-50 interactions about whether they were going to juke back or go forward, and they ended up winning like all of them. This chair actually ends up doing a pretty decent job throughout the course of the entire match here. But you can see by the ciphers remaining, they have 2 remaining. I'm not too particularly concerned here. Now this is why I was saying that is a very dangerous cipher to decode. Now here I'm just making sure to stand my ground, make sure everything's defended, which it is. Now I didn't realize that Acrobat already used self-heal. If I had already known that, I would have left him down. But either way, I know that when I pick up a survivor here, Mad Eye's chair, we call this Mad Eye's chair in kind of the competitive community. This is Mad Eye's strongest chair right here. And I end up getting very close on some chip shots here. Now it's really nice whenever you can get Mad Eye's chair here, because you can see you can block it off really easily with some well-placed walls. And I just go for stalling this past half. I get a nice chip shot here, and no matter what, this is going past half now. Now he drained that console out, which was very smart of him. Now that it's past half, I'm fine going for some extra hits. Get that chip right on the patient. Once again, you have to be on your toes if you're playing Survivor against Mad Eyes. Everything was out of energy. If I had more energy, this would have been almost a guaranteed stuff. But because Acro's dead on chair, I at least try to start targeting. But again, very, very difficult to do. He's an Acrobat, getting lots and lots of cheer. I go for that right there. And my big thing is I don't want the cipher to pop. Now I actually have a warp this time, so I can have a little bit more flexibility. Again, going for a lot of chip hits because it's only 1 chip hit and they're downed. Again, some of those were very, very close. Like that one. But they have 1 cipher remaining. It's that one in the corner. I end up walking because I don't really know where Acrobat is, and I don't really want to give anything early. But I decide to go right over here. Get this warp off. Because there's not much that they're going to be able to do. Yeah, I get that. That was a really nice wall. Hits both of the survivors there. And now it's going to be very tough for them to decode. Because one thing about Mad Eyes is I'm able to block off the cipher right there. And they go for some healing. But I don't allow it. The only way I can go wrong is if I give up a pop for free. Now, when you're against Mad Eyes, middle broken is very, very weak. And I'm doing my best to multitask here. Keep cheerleader in check, while also keeping both of the survivors in middle broken in check, which has to be done by the main body because there's not a lot of space. And I actually ended up getting the patient down right here. And this allows me to have a chair right before the pop, which is really nice. Again, I'm just going for as much chip hits as you can. Again, gotta be on your toes. I get cheerleader down. And once cheerleader gets down, they pretty much have no chance of priming a cipher. I go for this chair here just to go for speed. Could have gone for basement. Would have worked just fine. But yeah, the one in the one in, we call it back broken, that's the one that's almost popped. But the one in Graveyard has some decent progress. They end up going for kind of some healing things here. Now, I'm able to freely go over there. I can warp if I want, but I felt like it would be risky not to have trait for late game. And especially because this is tournament, I want to play as securely as I can. Now, I ended up not seeing until too late that the Acro was there. The Acro's going for some plays here. Almost got a full trap on him. If I had gotten a trap, that would have been nice. This is a very nice kind of 1-2 right here. That chair is very, very difficult to approach. And I get a really nice kind of 1-2 combo there. Now, Acro still doesn't have self-heal, but all I need to do, especially because Acro doesn't have self-heal here, I didn't actually know if the walls were going to last long enough, but I ended up getting what I thought was kind of a full trap, but I tried to warp right into it, didn't last long enough, Cheer was able to escape, but either way, Acro has no self-healing. This was a nice mind game. Again, a lot of like 50-50 type stuff can happen when you do Mad Eye's Chase here. But I end up just kind of tunneling the cheerleader here. Now the cheer has to either find a way to get to the acrobat. I end up going for another trap here. I get almost a full trap. Would have ran out of energy, but I could have also went past the pallet. Again, I'm working on blocking off all available resources. I'm trying to go for chip shots when I can. Again, some 50-50 interactions. Overall, I could have gone for some longer walls to get some more traps if I was to critique myself here. And if I play him in a future tournament, I will certainly keep that in mind. But again, this is tournament. A lot of nerves going on, especially because this is the first matchup. And I'm like, ooh, I could 4K the first matchup and guarantee at least a tie during the round. But now, cheerleader. The thing about Mad Eyes is you have to feel really secure with him to play in tournament. Mad Eyes is one of the characters that I feel like I have a pretty decent odds if I'm able to play him on Red Church or Eversleeping. Those are kind of the two maps I have for him. But now that the Survivor's right here, I get a funny little trap here. It's like, what's Cheer gonna do here? All your cheers are gone. No flywheel. Now, I had no idea that Acrobat didn't have self-heal. I was expecting him to pop up last second, so if you watch kind of what goes on here, I end up just kind of searching around until I can find Acrobat. Now, Acrobat somehow crawled all the way... Hold on, what was this build? Was there sticker in the build? Healing... Yeah, Max Sticker. Max Sticker can be kind of crazy. I downed him. You saw where I downed him with kind of the double walls in front of the chair. Now, what I do here... I just see that the Acrobat's sitting on dungeon. Yeah, that happens right now. I'm like, oh, you somehow found a way to get all the way to the dungeon here. So what I do, this is a really funny slugging tactic for Mad Eyes. This is what I call baby caging. If you watch my Mad Eyes guide, you'll see that I did this. I showed off some gameplay where Mad Eyes was able to get kind of the baby cage here. And this is kind of a way that you could slug. Even if he pops the self-heal, they're kind of stuck in there. So it doesn't really matter. I really was expecting Acrobat to get up, but I guess I'll continue going on. Mad Eyes, this is the build that I run. The funny thing is here, once the bleed out happens, there were a couple ways I could do this. One of them was what I did, warp in. I also could have just waited until they were out of bleed out time, but again, that would have taken a lot more time. But again, very, very secure. Best they can do is get out of it and then have to vault a wall again, which is not going to get them anywhere, especially with the dungeon on the other side of the map. What I do here is I just wait for the walls to come down and hope I can react faster than the cheerleader. Again, even if they got up, there was pretty much no chance they were going to make it all the way to that dungeon, so I felt secure playing this way. I probably would have just kept them baby caged if the dungeon had spawned right here at the top broken. But again, that made for a really solid round one. Now, I don't actually have recordings of the Survivor matches, but I will let you know, after this matchup, my Survivors got a 3-Survivor escape. The opposing Hunter went Geisha here. And we actually had... One of our Survivors did a really nice 3-Cypher Kite against a Dragon, which was... Or it was the last season of Dragon, which was really nice. Had me feeling really, really solid going to the second matchup. And then they ended up going... They had our Survivors go first during the second matchup. And they ended up getting a tie against a gamekeeper. So basically my win condition was if I got at least a 3K, it ends here. Although strategic-wise, I decided to go for a draw here. Now you can see the the matchup. It was really funny. They ended up wanting, the team ended up telling me they wanted to go for coordinator as the last survivor, but they ended up accidentally not locking one in time and automatically got locked with Lucky Guy. I gave them an opportunity to redo it, but they were like, nah, let's just run it. So, but I played Bloody Queen here because if I tie the matchup, it's a very, very winning round 3. So I was really happy with that. Survivors ended up going for some rough spawns, but anyways, let's watch the replay here. This was kind of a goofy matchup. The survivors did have to get, pretty much had to get a 3 survivor escape to really be alive. They had to win the round essentially. But I go for a very, very draw-oriented build, and I end up spawning here, which ends up blocking the Priestess Cypher. So Priestess ends up spending much of the early game just wandering around doing absolutely nothing. Now with Bloody Queen, when you're playing Bloody Queen for a tie, it's generally best just to go for the first survivor that you see. Can't really go wrong doing that. They end up going to Graveyard, which basically the strategy is get one out before the pop, get one out with detention, and you have a very, very easy tie that's hard to break. If the survivors want to counter a tie against a Bloody Queen, they have to go super, super risky, play characters like Antiquarian, Batter, Prospector, you know, stuff that really gives a lot of harassment and support opportunities. This was maybe not the best mirror on my part, but luckily the survivor didn't take advantage there. I have blink up, so I thought about blinking right here just for the extra presence, but presence doesn't really matter so much for Bloody Queen. After she has the mirror rotate, she doesn't get any stronger. So I decide to do this, go for a chairing right in the corner of the map. But now, you can see their Lucky Guy got a flare gun, so they essentially got the coordinator they were looking for. They end up going for a Priestess here. Priestess, again, is a character that I think is a decent choice if you need to go for a win, which these survivors very much did. But this is how you play when you're going for a tie here. I end up getting this. Now, I was lucky. I was gifted the double hit here because for some reason Priestess didn't portal. But if you get one hit on the Rescuer, generally you're fine here. I end up missing this mirror again. It was very, very close, but it is what it is. This is another kind of mind game moment. Now, one thing to know is that Bloody Queen has a quite large charge attack hitbox. I'm able to charge up all the way back there and get this hit on the Psychologist. Not too much time has been wasted. Got a double hit on the Priestess, which pretty much makes up for anything that I would have lost by extra time for Tide Turner. And the Psychologist goes back on chair. Now it just becomes try to rush the rescue. I get a somewhat decent mirror here. And I was like, what's going on? Why is there a long portal? Now, one thing that happens here, the survivor overestimated the amount of time that they would have to actually make it to this chair, so I'm actually able to do, this is kind of a strategy you can do, kind of body block the survivor a little bit, and they don't actually get that in time, which is very nice. That was like the one thing that could have gone wrong for the survivors, and it did. Ento does have Flywheel. Flywheel's out, and now it becomes eliminate the Entomologist, and if Entomologist is down by the pop, then it's not only a tie, but I have odds of just straight up ending the match there. Now you can see by the ciphers decoded, they do not have nearly enough ciphers to finish it off. There was just too much time wasted between Priestess needing to set up, Ento probably doing some setup too, and especially the spawns with Priestess just kind of running around in the early game. There was really not a good way for the survivors to have enough decoding time to really make this work, although Bloody Queen is typically referred to as Tie Queen, and here it is very, very much winning. They get a nice portal there, but again, it's after half, which is very nice for me. I don't mind if I get that there. Now here is where things got almost scary for the survivors. If I was just a little bit off, that would have been something where the main body hits one survivor and then the mirror hitbox hits the other, and could have been down there, but I end up just going for an easy blink. That's a down. And now it's just a matter of getting one more survivor eliminated. I decided to go for the 4K just because I wanted the clean sweep, and, you know, might as well. There's 2 ciphers remaining. No shot that actually backfires on me. So Priestess uses their self-heal really, really quickly. And I end up going for... Yeah, I get the Priestess here. Now, the Lucky Guy does a decent job during this kind of slugging process, but kind of has a lot of items here. Now, I go for a Mirror Rotate. That's one way. Bloody Queen's able to do that. That was a silly portal. But the Mirror Rotate is a way, if you know generally where the survivor's at, you can just kind of go for it. Almost get hit by Tram there, but it doesn't really matter. It's very much winning. And again, for what I determined was my victory condition was a tie. I'm very, very much stacked to beat A-okay here. Now Priestess Lucky Guy ends up going back to Priestess, getting the heal up, and something funny happens here. My game basically crashes. I was like, oh no, this is not how I tie. This is not how I tie. And I think it happens like right now. Yeah. My game pretty much crashes. I was like, pause, pause, pause. And eventually, I'm able to pause my own game. And I'm just going to fast forward here because I don't feel like waiting. Oh, I can't fast forward through it. Okay, I'm gonna do a cut, and I'll see you guys in a moment. All right, so welcome back. Yeah, as you can see, I got very, very laggy there, and but it's fine. It's all in the slugging process. If that was like in the middle of the matchup, I'd be maybe a little bit more upset about it. But again, it was fine. Now, Priestess is here. Again, no self-heal. I do see that they're going for some decoding there, so I'm able to just do this real quickly. I end up switching to Warp. I think Warp is very, very flexible. Very great trait addition to the game. It's less committal than Teleport, and I just like it a lot. So, depending on the hunter that I'm playing, I might switch to Teleport, I might switch to Warp. It doesn't really matter. They end up going for a flare gun there, which I'm very happy about. Doesn't even pull a mirror there. Now he actually doesn't go for the pocket watch here. And yeah, I'm in a very, very comfortable 4K position here. So I guess while we're finishing up this matchup, I'll let you guys know if you have any questions about playing in competitive, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below, and I can answer any questions. Again, Mad Eyes was a very, very interesting character to play, kind of in the, especially during round 1 of the tournament. It's very, very aggressive. I think it's very, very fun, and overall, I'm working on getting back into competitive. Competitive is something that I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with in the past, but I'm very happy kind of coming back now, especially now that I'm playing. The Survivor team that I'm playing with is some people from that either watch the channel or one of the survivors that I played with is one of my IRL friends, which is very nice to see. And it was actually their first tournament win here, which I really appreciated here. Again, just going for the slug. This slug goes on for a little while longer. But overall, I was very happy with how this matchup went. Get that. That's going to be a 4 survivor elimination. And that ended up being the win for me. So I plan on doing recaps in the future of kind of some of my future matchups. I don't know, we'll see. It depends on how it goes. But I hope this was instructive and hopefully you learned a thing or two. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!